Good afternoon, guys. Si here once again. Welcome to today's Gunner Talk, a special match day analysis Gunner Talk after last night's game. Tricky one, really. I said to you guys in my last one that I was hoping that we'd get more of a test defensively and be under the cosh quite a bit and really see where we stand. You know, we all know the attack's good. Yeah, well, better than good. We all know our midfield's very strong. So the defence for me is our real weak point. So at the moment, so for me, that's where I wanted to see us get tested, and I feel we got thoroughly tested last night. So let's have a chat about it. Lineup: checking goal, Bella's at right back, Said at left back, centre back pairing Mustafi and Socrates. El Nene as your centre defensive mid. It was meant to be Rambo as sort of box to box, an attacking mid. Guendouzi as a sort of deep line playmaker, box to box, and then it looked to me like we had Ozil right wing, Mickey on the left wing, and Oba down the middle. Obviously, just before the game, Rambo got injured. I've not seen anything yet, whether it's just a niggle or not. That's not good for me. It's bringing up that deep line issue again, isn't it, of his fitness. You know, he's a lot like Wiltshire in that category, of staying fit. Not through his fault, once again, a horrific injury, but, I hope that's not a bad one, because if we go into the season with him injured by the time the transfer window shuts, that leaves us in such a weak position, because then we'd have to give him what he wants, whether we were looking to sell him or not, because we can't lose him for nothing. So that's a bit of a concern for me, and I'm keep, refreshing, waiting to find out exactly what's gone on with him. I think the first word out was it was just a little muscle strain, a calf strain or something, so hopefully it's not too bad. So Smith Rowe took his place. So let's go through that lineup in the first half. Cech, he was captain. You guys know I'm not his biggest fan, and he makes me incredibly nervous. I have no confidence in him, but credit where it's due, he was good last night. Did everything he needed to do well, so made some really important saves at important times. He saved the penalty at an important time. It was a poor penalty, but you've got to go the right way. If you go the wrong way, the penalty counts, and it doesn't matter whether it was crap or not. So, yeah, I've got to give him credit for that as well. Penalty saves are something we're not used to seeing in the last 10 years. So, I can only give credit where it's due with Petter. He was decent, and if he can play like that all season, he'll do for me as a backup. I'd still rather see Martinez as backup. Because that'll help us in the future, but I'm not going to complain that we've got another good goalie. The only concern I have with him is, and the biggest concern that I'll get on in a minute with last night, is this back line and doing the high press and stepping out and trying to catch him offside. To do that well, you've got to have a sweeper keeper who steps out as a sweeper. And as a defender, and comes out and if the defence get caught on the occasion where the ball goes over the top or through, they're out lightning quick and get rid of it. And I'm not sure he'll be capable of that, and why I picked Leno over him, because I think he'd be miles better as a sweeper keeper. But I'm not going to complain. He did really well last night, and I thought one of our better performers. Hector, where do I start? He was awful. I'm not going to hammer him, but a 17-year-old had him on toast for most of the first half, and most of the time he was on the pitch. But I'm not going to hammer him because he just didn't look fit. There was one ball where it was just played round the side of him, and 10 times out of 10 normally he'd win it, and he didn't. He gave Hudson-Odoi 2 yards, and he ended up getting beat by 2 yards. And for me, that's not normal Hector. We all know he's lightning quick. When he's fully fit, there's no one that's running past him. Nobody. They might be able to push him off the ball once they get there, but no one's beating him for pace. And I don't believe Hudson-Odoi's the fastest footballer we've ever seen. So there's something not right there with me, and why I'm going to give him a bit of a pass. It's just worrying because your defence, it's the sum of your parts, and if one part doesn't work, it all doesn't work. So for me, he was a big reason why we were ropey at the back last night, and he had a really poor performance. And it's a big reason why Litchy's come in. Me, like most, I didn't think about a backup right back because I was so adamant that we needed other positions more. But the more I look at it now, it's a brilliant signing, because games like last night, we've got a perfect replacement for him now, someone who's super experienced. I'm not going to list Litchy's CV. We all know it's brilliant. So that for me is a highlight, is when Hector has a dip in form like that, we've got someone who can step in and maybe be even better. it's not a long-term solution with Lichy, but in the meantime, it's a great foil for when Hector has games like that, and we can change it up. So yeah, it's a tricky one for me. Like I say, I'm not going to hammer him. Mustafi, brilliant for me again. His reading of the game, his interceptions, he's covering, his clearance off the line was at a really important time when heads could have dropped, and he got in there. I was really happy with him again, and proving he's our best centre back. And he would have been one of my players of the night last night. I thought he was absolutely top, and if he keeps playing like that, he'll do for me this year definitely. Socrates, he's still been underwhelming, but he was better last night for me. I'd have given him a solid 7 out of 10 last night. I think he did most of what he had to do well, and people writing him off already. I've been underwhelmed by him, but come on guys, he's had a few halves here and there so far in pre-season. Let's not write him off already. You know, if you're going to say Guendouzi's the world's best centre mid already, well, Socrates can't have got crap overnight either, so let's give him a bit of credit. He looked a bit more solid last night, and that partnership looked alright. It wouldn't be my preferable starting back two, but they both did alright for me last night. Saeed, I thought he had his best performance of pre-season last night for me. I saw people ripping into him last night. I don't know what game you were watching, but it was a different one to me. I thought they got nothing out of him down that right-hand side for them, and on our left-hand side. I didn't think anyone got any change out of him. I think they found it very frustrating, and I thought he was good going forward as well. He looked much improved, looked much fitter. He's the same criticism I have of him I have of Hector. Just that final ball sucks, and it's got to get sorted out. They both need to work on it a lot. If we're going to utilise these lads overlapping and then whipping the ball in, they've both got to improve for me. And just overall on that defensive back line, we're going to play that high line. We've got Bold here. He was part of our best ever back line, and that old George Graham, that back four that he drilled, and his method. So if anyone should be able to coach a back line, it should be him. It's early into Unai's tenure, so Baldy's not had much responsibility for long, but these lads have got to get to work, and like I said on the Socrates comments, they're obviously working on the defence. Excuse me. So it's for me again that one ball over the top down the channel or whatever, we switch off to it and we get sucker punched far too easily on it, and it was all down the right hand side last night for me. Hector was under the cosh all game, and that's where all of our problems came. Much better in the second half though. It was much improved. We were catching them offside for fun in the second half, so that you can see the work's happening. It's just not going to happen overnight, guys, so don't lose the plot. This is our defence now that we've got going into the season, whether you like it or not, so get behind them. There's no point in hammering them already. A few games into pre-season, it's crazy. Give these lads a chance. Look at Mustafi. Most of you would have sold him. He's already proving that would have been a stupid move. For me, the back line needs work, but it's getting work. On the Socrates comments, they're working on it, so it's going to be something that we'll work on throughout the season, and most of you don't have high expectations anyway, so give these lads a chance. Come on, cut them a bit of slack. El Nene, sloppy again for me. His distribution was sloppy. He's just a bit of a passenger, and for me, I think he's one of our most expendable players. I'd have him the back of the pecking order out of all of our midfielders. I'd have him behind Ainsley, Guendouzi, Smith Rowe. I'd have him behind all of them. Just not doing enough for me. Just not good. That's all I've got to say. 2 out of 10 for me for him last night. He was really poor.
Skim diddly, skim dibbly, skim bibbly dibbly diddy. Pass to Guendouzi on the left hand side. Pass to Guendouzi on the right hand side. He's gonna tackle and maybe jump and cross. And now we've got him, we can rock and dance. Pass to Guendouzi on the left hand side. Pass to Guendouzi on the right hand side. He's gonna tackle, maybe jump and cross. And now we've got him, we can rock and dance.
This guy again, the Doozer, the Guendouzi, the Guendo. Highlight of pre-season for me. Absolutely unreal performance again. Didn't fade in this match. Bossed it. Absolutely bossed it. Considering first half, Smith Rowe, he couldn't get into the game, and El Neni was a passenger. Our midfield three was pretty much just Guendouzi, and he acquitted himself so well. Considering this lad is stepping up from French second division football, unreal. I said it the other day, he's a real Rolls Royce of a player. He's got it all. The one downside is he just gets nabbed every now and again, a bit daydreaming on the ball. But he's young, so I'm not going to give him any stick for that at all, and that is something that will get ironed out of his game. The more experience he gets, the more up to speed he gets, he'll be reading the game better. But his movement, his defensive work, his passing, his range of passing is unreal, whether it's a 40-yard fizzer, cross field, or just a little 4-yard layoff. Unreal, and even if he was tiring last night, his passing didn't show it, because his stats percentage of completed passes last night must have been in the 90% plus, surely, because I didn't feel like he gave the ball away once, apart from, like I say, the odd occasion that he got nabbed. And yeah, just absolutely brilliant. We've signed this guy as a backup midfielder, and if you look at it, that's all we wanted from him. We're going to get way more than that. Talk of him being in the first team already is very premature for me. Let's not get too carried away, and let's just nurture him. We can see what sort of player we've got in him, and another big feather in the cap of Sven. Look at the two players he's brought in, him and Mavro. Probably two of the best youth players we've had in quite a while, or so it looks at the moment, and both in for less than 10 million in total. So well done, Sven. This is the reason why we've got this guy at the club. Our budget might not be massive, but this guy will, sewing a purse out of a sow's ear and all that, this guy. So yeah, really impressed with him again, and like I say, he's been my highlight of pre-season, a massive positive, and for me probably man of the match again last night. I'm gonna, like I said the other day, I'm going to run out of superlatives for him, and I feel like I am doing already. I just think we need to ease him in, because the real tests are going to come. So no, I wouldn't be starting him over Xhaka or Ramsey or anyone in the midfield yet, but cup games, impact sub, he's going to be brilliant. And I love the way he takes it upon himself to drop into the back line and help us play out through him, and he's brilliant at it. So I'm really excited for this guy, and he's a perfect foil for Xhaka, definitely. And another utility player like Ainsley, we can play him anywhere in that midfield three. So massive thumbs up, Mathieu, my boy. Awesome, again, absolutely awesome. And I've even dedicated my Avi to him this morning. If you guys want to check it out, I can't get enough of the guy at the minute, like I'm sure most of you can't. But I'm just tempering the excitement at the minute, because it's just pre-season. Let's not get too carried away. Smith Rowe, like I say, he got swapped in for Rambo last minute. He really struggled in the first half of the first half. He wasn't in it at all. He was a complete passenger, just couldn't get into the game. But what I liked about it is he realised he wasn't in the game, and he stepped up and he played himself into a game. It's no good with your arms up whinging on the sideline, or watching play pass you by. Go and get involved in the game. Go and make sure you're part of the game. So I felt like he did that on the half-hour mark. I feel like he went, right, I'm going to get hooked if I play like this. So, right, I'll go drop deeper, I'll get involved, I'll look to play the ball. And it was no surprise that once he did that, we looked a better side, and we weren't getting marched all over through the middle of the pitch anymore. So I was really impressed by that, and that showed, a good head on his shoulders for his tender years. So I was happy with his performance. It wasn't his best, but it was a nice confidence booster for him again, and showing him what he needs to do to get involved in games and playing his way into real contention in the squad. So I was happy with what I saw from him. Ozil, he was another one for me. I didn't hear his name in the first half an hour. I wasn't even sure he was on the pitch. I was sort of looking in the stands to see if he was enjoying a hot dog and a cold Pepsi, but for me, once we switched up sides, we swapped him and Mickey over on the sides, he looked a different player, and he was all of a sudden in the game. And then when we switched him down the middle of the park, he was just a midfield maestro that we know, and the world class, and one of the best number 10s he's ever been. You've got to use these sort of players. I've had this argument with people so many times, we can play these players out wide, we can play these players here. Why? I know we can do it, but why are we doing that? Why are we putting square pegs in round holes when we don't need to? If we've got too many square pegs, get rid of some of them and swap them for round pegs. At the end of the day, for me, Mesut has to start in centre attacking mid, and we have to play everything through him. And if not, sell him and go and let him play his football and do it for somebody else, because we're wasting him. And no shock for me when he went down the middle and pulling all the strings like the puppet master he is. We were unreal, and we go from an average side to a class one when we play through him. And he was just splitting their defence open for absolute fun, second half especially. And he could have had a ton of assists, and I think it's a good pointer for this season that if we play him there, he's going to rack up some serious numbers. So yeah, he was a contender for man of the match for me, definitely. He was really good in the second half, really impressive. And it's the same argument I have with people. I say we've got to utilise Laka down the middle and play Oba down the left, and people say to me, no, you can't do that, it's wasting him. But these are the same people that are playing Mesut on the wing of a front three. It's the same scenario, guys. If you don't like one, you can't like the other. It doesn't work. And for me, that was perfect proof last night that playing him wide in a three up top, the same as it'd be with Rambo, it won't work. It just won't work. He's not that sort of player, and he's completely wasted there. So yeah, that was an obvious one for me last night, is that doesn't work for us, and he's not an option wide in a front three. Mickey, I saw he was getting a bit of stick last night, but I thought he did really well. I thought he brought the ball out well, controlled it well, and started off moves and got involved. Much better. I said to you guys, he looked off it in the first few games. I thought he looked way more on it last night, playing himself into fitness and up to speed. And yeah, when he was the same. He was quiet, and then when he got switched sides, he was a much better player, and he'd be my instant starting right hand side of that front three for me. I was happy with what I saw from him last night. A much improved performance. Oba could do with a tumbleweed there. Really quiet from him, really off it last night. He had that one chance that he missed, maybe that would have been a difference, but he just wasn't his usual self. And I'm not going to give him any stick, because that entire front three didn't work until it got changed up. So yeah, he just an off night for him. That's all I've got to say on it, and it's a very rare off night, as we know from what we've seen. And one thing I will give credit to Unai for is that, for me, sort of half an hour in, I thought, right, we need to whip El Neni off, drop Guendouzi deeper, drop Ozil into that midfield three, and then get Laka on down the middle and push Oba out onto the left. He didn't do that, but he did switch up that front three. As soon as he did, it changed the game. So I've got to give him credit for that on a coaching perspective, because it made a massive difference, and he saw it, which shows us the kind of manager we've got. He's proactive. If that had been Wenger last season, we'd have waited till 70 minutes and we were 5-0 down before he'd have thought of bringing Welbeck on or something. So I can only applaud him for that, and it's impressive from me. I really enjoyed that. I was thinking it and he did it, so I was happy with that. First 20 minutes we were poor. The first half we had no shots on target. That's not good. Just somebody have a dig. Just let their keeper know we're in the match and we're a danger. You can't not be testing a goalie in 45 minutes of football if you fancy yourselves to be a decent side. That's just not good enough. And we're still open to that one ball that I keep telling you guys that we switch off, and that one ball happens and we're all over the place and we get sucker punched. And for me, if Morata had been on it last night, we could have been 4-0 down in the first half hour. But fortunately we weren't, and we got much better. I keep saying, the coaching, that back four and that pressing and that high line that we're going to play. That needs work, and it's getting work. So I'm not going to lose sleep over it. It needs to improve. And the other thing that I noticed, set pieces like the Rudiger goal. Smith Rowe was marking him. What was that about? He was marking Rudiger and Bellerin was marking Morata. That is a terrible matchup. But, if we're not going centre back versus centre back, or centre back versus their striker and a centre back, we might as well call it a day now, because we're going to get eaten alive at set pieces. We looked well organised at set pieces, just the personnel matchups were all wrong. So that's something for me needs serious work, because I couldn't give Smith Rowe stick for the goal, because as soon as I saw it was him marking, I was just like, well, why is he marking Rudiger? That was 2-0 to them on their matchups for me, and that would never change. And yeah, the only other thing I noticed was when we switched Mesut. You see his brilliance when he plays where he's meant to be, in a round peg in a round hole rather than a square peg in a round hole. So that was the first half for me. Not great, but we got a good test of our defence, and you could say they didn't stand up to it, but I thought they did. The scoreline was the scoreline. You can say that they could have scored their chances, but they didn't, and we stayed in the game. So you've got to give the lads a bit of credit for that. Second half, we had a few subs. 63rd minute, Smith Rowe off for Iwobi. 70th minute, Saeed came off for Ainsley. 72nd minute, Mickey off for Reece and Oba off for Laka. And then about 78 minutes in, Bellerin off for Chambers. So let's just run through them. Iwobi, not much to say really. He came on, he did his bit. Didn't really get much of a chance to impact on the game too much. And I couldn't really tell if he was playing down the side or as a left winger or sort of centre attacking mid. But I just don't want to see him down the wing anymore. It's not his bag, baby, and it just can't keep happening for me. I want to see him down the middle. So yeah, he was just a bit of a nothing really. Ainsley was the same. Ainsley's Ainsley. No matter where you play him, what job you give him, he'll do it well. And I felt like he did. Nothing exciting, but just filled a gap and did his bit. So he was another one. Reece, for me, he looked really lively when he came on. His pace and his directness caused them problems, and especially with Ozil splitting the defences with balls, he was open a few times, and he's got end product, like I said the other day. He looks up, and even if he doesn't look up, he just knows what the right type of ball is to put the defence under pressure, even if no one's there. So I'm really happy with Reece, and I think he's maturing nicely, and I think this will be a good season for him this year. As an impact sub, I think he'll have a great impact. And in cup games, I think he should be a starter. And no shock, he got another assist last night, and he was another difference maker when he came on. So big thumbs up to Reece last night. Laka, to keep telling you guys, he's such a sleeper, and he's not getting credit off you lot. And you need to be crediting this guy because he's a world-class centre forward. He's got that killer instinct. He's a proper striker. And for me, he has to start. He's too good to be sat on the bench or alternate him in and at Ober. I'd much rather put Ober out on the left and accommodate Laka. That's just my opinion, guys. Don't hate me for it. I just think it's fact. It's like last night, his head doesn't drop because he's quality, and he knows when he keeps getting chances, sooner or later he'll score. He missed a chance, and then 5-10 minutes later he's at the back post and in right place, right time, and bagging. So nothing but a thumbs up from me again, and just showing that killer instinct that we've been lacking for years. This guy's got it, and we need to utilise it. Nice for that. He's got another one on the spreadsheet again. So well done, mate. Callum, he came on at right back instead of centre back, and he was solid again. He's looked so much better. He's looked so much more composed and mature. And I think he's our second best centre back. And for me, our starting centre back pairing should be him and Mustafi, and have the two Greek lads as the backup, and then Rob, filling in when one of those guys is out of form or injured or whatever. So yeah, that was it for me. We were much better in that second half. Like I say, no surprise when Mesut went down the middle. We were a completely different side, and we've got a world-class number 10 pulling the strings, and all of a sudden we were opening them up for fun. So that was no shock, and I thought we dominated after 30 minutes in the first half. I thought it was all us pretty much, apart from the odd shaky moment. And I love this team morale, never give up. If you just keep knocking on that door, sooner or later you'll knock it down, and we did. Mesut down the middle was brilliant, having a proper striker down the middle, just a direct, poacher made a big difference. Genuine pace out wide in Reece made a big difference. And it's just nice that we didn't fold, and in the past we'd have buckled and got beat 4 or 5-0, and we didn't. And we'll definitely improve as the lads get to coach these boys more. We'll keep improving. And you look last night at personnel who weren't on the pitch to start off. Leno, Litchi, Callum, Mavro, Holding, Nacho, Rambo, Torreira, Xhaka, Eddie, Reece, Ainsley, Iwobi. We've got so many options now. And I think there's only reasons to be positive at the minute, and we're a project that's going forward, and we might not be taking giant leaps at the minute, but I can see steady improvement. When you take the rose tinted glasses off and you stop your whinging and you're going off on one, and you sit back and you watch it again, you'll realise there was a lot of good things going on last night and a lot of improvement. So I was really happy with that. Just other things going on at the minute. Perez, it looks like he's on his way out, which I'm a bit surprised at, but I think now, Welbs, I've gone on about him getting this extended holiday and what that says about him as a guy, and the club obviously don't care that he comes back, and he doesn't care that he comes back. So them two out, Campbell out, Akpom out, Ospina out, Jenko out, Jeff out. For me, there's about 35 million in total there, 30 to 35 million, and I think we're going to go out and get a winger with that money. To me last night it was obvious that we could just do with one more pacey direct wide player up top. And I hope that that's what we'll do regardless of the Rambo situation. I'm not going to go on about that, I'm bored of that already. Just sign mate or do one. I don't want to disrespect him because he's been awesome for us down the years, and much better than he gets credit for, but this is going on far too long for me. I just don't like this situation, because I think for me it makes the club feel a bit weak, and I don't want that. I want the club to go back to proving this is Arsenal, and we are the big thing. Not, no players bigger than the club, and we'll sacrifice anyone for the cause, no matter how much I love him. So that was one for me. And cos his comments on retiring at Lorient, I think we should do that. Just let him play his way back to fitness this season and be a bit of a foil for us, and then let him, release him or whatever. Let him go there at the end of the season and applaud him for the great career he's had at us. I didn't expect much out of him when we signed him, and he's turned out to be a real rock for us. I feel he doesn't get enough credit as he should. In times when it'd have been easier for him to walk away, and he didn't. He stuck and fought for the cause. So I can only applaud him for that. Proper Arsenal man. And yeah, big thumbs up. So that's it from me, guys. Sorry it's gone on a bit, but loads to talk about again. And hope you've enjoyed. Please keep supporting and giving me a follow, guys, and subscribing. And thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch. Hope you've enjoyed. Have a lovely Thursday. Take it easy, guys.